Ethan finally knocked on the door. No one answered. Neither the first time nor the door. No lights come in any of the rooms. Or come on in any rooms. There was no sound behind the door. One of the windows was on the second floor was open. I wonder if this is the house of the guy that we played as at the beginning. It's a guess, but the second window is open too. Ethan moved away from the porch and tried to take a better look. No movement. The house was asleep, and its sleep resembled torpor. Ethan himself came to think he might be dreaming. But if two people shared the same dream, is it any different from reality? Slowly, as if that Wally was a dream, Ethan went to the flower tub the letter had mentioned and took the spare key from the hiding place. Just as slowly he returned to the door. The key rattled 3 times in the lock and the door drifted inward from the darkness, into the darkness. At the top of the stairs leading to the second floor, there sat a cat. Ethan tried to call out to it, but the cat didn't move, still watching him with bright, round eyes. Ethan plugged into the darkness of the home. The darkness and the stretch, which were almost one and the same hill. The smell, unbelievably thick, then swamped the house in a suffocating shroud. Ethan tried not to think about where it was coming from. Instead, he thought of Selene, or rather her dark counterpart, Hecate. The ancient Greeks believed that she appears in the form of a dog. But dogs were sacrificed to her one day. But it turned the lights. It was really better too, but Ethan couldn't gather enough courage to do it. Dogs are the natural enemy of cats. Light is a natural enemy of darkness. Life is a natural enemy of death. And what wish could be more natural than a wish to destroy your natural enemy? Ethan stumbled over something. He looked down. A hand was peeking out from behind the kitchen counter, black and swollen. Of course, Ethan would have seen more if he had a flashlight. Somehow, Ethan wasn't surprised. As if it's him and his friend, who had long ago resigned to his fate. You have received the notice of life termination. It suddenly dawned on him. Madness, curse, and the death are contagious. And this is not a Dark Age superstition, but an actual law of reality. Selene, Hecate, Artemis, madness, curse, and death. Here lies the accurate intro. As accurate as it gets. The intro has 3 faces, and he himself wished to look into each of them. A sound of glass breaking in the hall, but it wasn't a window collapsing. The light bulbs. Someone was smashing the light bulbs with a bat one by one. The sound was getting closer. Ethan closed his eyes. Good night. Okay, I got one of the endings. Okay, thank you to the last choice. Into the car. Totally feel good. I'm assuming there might be like a theme where there's like a lot of bad endings, and I just managed to kind of dodge some opportunist points. But let's don't. Shred broke out on his upper lip. Ethan closed his eyes. No. Ethan said it with full clarity. All the final words that came out of his mouth were more and more quiet until his lips moved slightly. No. I'm sorry. I can't help. I'm so sorry. He really was sorry. Sorry about his former life. Sorry for him sad disbelief to the point his stomach clenched with a painful spasm. Sorry for hope. Sorry for the poor rider who was being dragged deep into the cold vortex of darkness. But but what could be Ethan do against the darkness? He feared. Maybe he had the skill to get the inches required, but they were buried too deep. At that depth, the water turned pitch black, and there were stains in the blackness. Ethan didn't know their name himself. Ethan didn't want to know. He took a deep breath as if he was actually about to dive. Then he deleted the email. The letter with the title untitled had disappeared to the dark vortex. The frantic, terrified pleas for help were erased, leaving no trace, as if they had never existed. No, it's not like that. Hope was once told him it was a bad time for Ethan to record this. The information on the internet doesn't really disappear after you click delete. Most often it remains somewhere on the service, and you just lose access to it. You turn the mirror to the wall and pretend like it's your fancy. There was nothing wrong with the reflection. In that case, the silent scream didn't vanish. It was now trapped. Trapped where no one could hear it. I'm so sorry. Ethan covered his face with his hands. The mirror on the wall of Ethan's dark bathroom was reflecting a closed doorway. Ethan and Hope got an official divorce 3 months later. Oof. Poor dude. They were together for a while, it seemed like. And it seemed like they loved each other. They never talked about everything that happens. But what did actually happen? Over time, the horrors you experienced got away from memory, fade, weaken. Such are the defense mechanisms of the human psyche. that that loves you and never stood silently at the head of your bed, clenching the pillow in his hands for some reason. When you were 8, Uncle Jeremy didn't take you behind the barn, didn't show you anything, or make you show anything. The grandfather's old wig does not and never has had any long spider legs. Ethan's psyche had normally suffered, but it was playing by the rules still. He wanted simple, coherent explanations, and he knew where to get them. Dr. Laura Stein wasn't island of clear insanity and horrors, as Ethan had discovered, fade from memory much better if you break them down into phallic symbols. Ethan wished it started therapy sooner. Who knows, maybe most of that nightmare could have been avoided. The police never figured out what happened, but even the clumsy versions suited Ethan much better than what he remembered, what he allegedly remembered. Week after week, he could feel like he was gradually recovering. Of course, he had to give up his career as an independent consultant in favor of a more predictable office job, but at least he had the money for proper therapy. And at some point, a small incident happened. Dr. Stein introduced an electronic registration system. As it goes with electronic registration systems, something went wrong on the second or third week. It turned out that 3 people had an appointment in the same time slot. Mr. Crans, Mr. Harrison, Mrs. Mills. The meeting felt awkward at first, but the tension faded surprisingly quickly. But mutual agreement, Mr. Crans was the first to go to Dr. Stein's office. Ethan and Hope were left alone on the couch. They were both smiling, a little tense, but overall happy. Since they met like that, they decided to go out for a coffee and talk about various things, because they haven't spoken in a long time. Then at some point they decided to hold hands. The next day, they were hardly keeping their eyes open, because they only managed to sleep for a total of 3 hours. And that was inevitable, as in a relationship you always have to sacrifice something.
Who was that?
So what, did they get a divorce and they get back together? I mean, it's not something that does happen before. But it does say they haven't talked in a long time, so it depends how long. 3 months later, they got a divorce. So if it was like 2, 3 years, it makes sense. But it kind of just happens. Hope leaned over the arm of the sofa and looked at Ethan curiously. He shrugged. A literary agency, one of the few I haven't disgraced myself in front of yet. They're looking for enough of a born guy to be their historical consultants. The work is scheduled something about a whole day and most of the night, 7 days a week.
So what did they say?
That I'm happily employed office work and I heartily enjoy Colorado.
Are you serious? Ethan, don't be silly. We both know this is your true calling. I understand this kind of work takes a lot of time, but you could quit the office job and...
I could, but I don't want to. It's my turn to bring the men to the cave. What about your calling? I know well enough how hard you work to make this startup of yours thrive. Who will make a homeless cat sitter if not you?
Well, actually, there is quite a variety of animals in our database. You'd be surprised. Recently, someone has booked a mini pig.
A mini pig? Like an actual pig but portable?
Yeah, well, kind of. The mini part stands for 100 pounds instead of a good 600. People get crazy over cute piglet photos and think this is it, but in reality, wait a minute. Don't try to change the subject.
I didn't even think about it. Hope signed, Farnan.
I don't want you to give up on your dream.
I'm not giving up on anything. And anyway, I do understand that Miss Mills won't marry an ordinary office clerk. But I have a plan.
Oh, come on.
A sofa cushion slapped against Ethan's cheek. Hope tried her best to look serious, but she was too pleased to pull it off. Besides, she was born with curiosity.
What's the plan?
I'm writing a book. On mythology.
Wow. So now you're not only a popular history consultant, but also a talented writer. Guess I'll start getting used to that thought.
Ethan grinned. Something of that sort, yes.
And what's your future bestseller about?
It seemed to Hope, just for a brief moment, that Ethan's eyes became round and shining pools of black nacre. The Chthonic gods of ancient Greece. Blue lights or two. Do you want to go back? Okay, first of all, let's check this. Happy Dreamlands. I will give you the keys to the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you lose on earth will be loosed in heaven. The hands is Sim show. What do you do when you feel lonely? I don't feel lonely. What do you do when you feel lonely? I don't feel lonely. What do you do when you feel lonely? Something bad happened to you actually again. What do you do? Oh, told you. Okay. We welcome your stay for a moderate price. The light from a single source is split with a half a shivered mirror. The results of beams are each reflected by a series of mirrors. We expect them to combine at some point. I'm not saying it's safe, all I'm saying is... Sorry. All I'm saying is we are resolving the experiment. Fear not the devil but the God, for he walks among us and his eyes are hungry. How many are these? Are there? There are mirrors behind mirrors and doors behind doors, some of them not like the other. Okay. April 24th. Nobody came to my birthday party except for my friends and Timo. Mom said I would get real friends when I'm older. My friends are real, but still, I love to have someone to hang out with. I just have to wait for a bit. Okay. Let's go back to the last choice. Yeah, well, okay. So what I need to do is let's maybe minuets, yes.
Selene.
Or starts. And then we'll just do a whole lot of skips. Have you seen this before? Actually, is this even a part I've seen before? Okay, there we go. Just Leho in is refused. This isn't his house. Maybe he pays for it, but it's not his home. And even if this was his house, would anything have changed? It's easy to put the blame on the landlady. The landlady would have a fit, and he would have to find a new hoe to call in and forget about the deposit too. But was she the real problem? No. The real problem was that she couldn't even take care of himself. Taking care of someone else is a much bigger task, even if it's just for one night. No, I'm sorry. I can't let you in. She must have shaken her head right, but he thought she nodded. I understand. When the door clicked, it felt like a ping again. Did he do the right thing? He had no answer. I should have put some better for on the porch, he thought, but a sudden wave of fatigue swept him off the feet. He somehow made it to the living room and just collapsed on the couch. The body, too light and too heavy, fell through the hookery fabric and felt layer. The wall compressed springs the window for him. He kept falling and falling, falling into the pitch blackness until it closed over him like a smooth dome. He wasn't dreaming. He wasn't dreaming. Okay, so that shook me straight back to that choice. Okay. June 11th. Had a really weird dream today. Hope is okay. I'll go and look for him. I should have closed the door window. Okay, so let's lay her in. Then we'll start skipping this dialogue. Doesn't matter. Never mind, this can wait. The cat's fur wasn't very long, but it was fluffy enough to hide her sides. He was once again surprised at how skinny she was. He was even more surprised when he noticed the color of her small locket. So you do have a home. In that case, you always have some owners, I must say. The cat curled up on a wet towel in his lap, slowly dozing off. He could feel the familiar lowering vibe emerge inside her. Suddenly he put the towel with the cat on it away. I should get you some food. Let me see what I have. He got up with a type of dignity none he could handle. Still, his body felt unusually heavy and unwieldy. He had to give the cat something to eat. He would lie down afterwards and then, heck, maybe he would even fall asleep. Maybe I should have gotten a cat from my jeweler. Oh, don't mind me. I'm here to collect the tomato soup. No, why, it doesn't matter that much. I'm happy to have you back. After all, there was no point in this grudge from the start. Nobody gains anything by holding on to small grudges. Uh, the game not like that choice? Doesn't matter. He was he wasn't sleeping, but his house was, and its lullaby was woven with one single word. Concern for okay, this is new text. Okay. At times, something scratched inside the walls, and he became sensitive to such things when he could not see for a long time. Faced with these symptoms for the last time, he took his flashlight and some stick and just shook at the house for a long time, tapping it walls here and there. He had no idea how to deal with rats. That's what he thought to remember how his mother used to handle this. After the team had finished, poison became the weapon of choice when it came to dealing with rats. The kind that should be kept away from small children and pets. I remember this. He went on to the hardware store and filled the cart with colorful packages. Then he duly strewed the whole house with bright, deadly pellets that crunched under his feet when he went to the coffee. After a while, the sound stopped. Yeah, he could hear them again now. Something was scratching. It's been a long time, so no wonder. Those pests always come back. That's what his mother would say. And this time he agreed for completely on the matter. He considered his options. He had no poison left and he could not go out to restock. He was completely immersed in his work. And although he was now much closer to the end of his script in its beginning, there was still much to be done. Although he couldn't sleep, he still could work, and it would be stupid to lose pace just to go shopping. Besides, he now had a cat. He didn't really own her, of course, but she came to see him, and he always made sure that she ate well. He had to care about her safety. No, poison was not an option. Of course, he considered asking the cat to do the job, but every time she came, the thought completely vanished from his mind. He had other things than rats to talk about. He told her a lot about his work, and sometimes read what he wrote. The cat really gave any comments, but never refused to listen. He liked that battle. Not only that, of course, take herself for example. She smelled the warm fuel of dust up the street. This may sound simple, but the smell made his heart ache with sadness and unbearable love. It was the smell of a warm June night in which Tima had vanished, and also many, many beloved cats before and after him. This cat, however, was special. He could feel it, although he couldn't find the right words. Well, why are you all if you can't find the words? That's what he would say if he was talking to himself. But he never did such things, even if he couldn't sleep for a long time. At least you can walk, said the computer screen, flickering in the dark. But he couldn't, so at the moment, he heard the thing again. Something scratched, and this time the sound was different. That's you can skip, okay. He swung around and looked behind him, then swallowed hard, staring into the darkness. Suddenly, his head cleared up. Something's coming, said the computer screen. Careful, said the flat white ceiling lamp. It should be downstairs, said the cupboard bed. Downstairs. The first floor was dark, buried in slumber just like the rest of the house. There's no point in turning on the light if you're going to stay in the same room. Try not night, all morning, and all day, and on next night too, unless of course the cat comes. Even if he had to go out, he knew that was perfectly well. Even bottom of it, he needs no light to get anywhere he wanted. That's why he won't turn the lights, so the one who scratches won't know that he knows. He decided so as he went down the stairs entirely. Downstairs were quiet. He listened to the sounds for a few minutes, but it sounded unconvincing. If something had started scratching, it won't go away that easily. He knew that for sure. Those parts always come back. He had it almost there somehow. With the bat, for example. He still haven't put the bat away, so he was lying somewhere in the dark living room, having a Bible. All he had to do was reach it before the one who scratches gets back to his work. As he passed the kitchen, a prickly shiver went through him, as if someone was looking at him from the darkness of the room, or was the room itself watching him. Either way, he knew better than to turn and peer into the dark maw of the entrance. If he dares something to talk about, something he doesn't want to know about. He found the bat under the dresser, and just in time, because the next moment he wouldn't have been able to move. Something was scratching in the walls, a new disgusting sound that had nothing to do with rats. To be more precise, the new sound could have not anything to do with a living being. A painful spasm passed through his body. He clenched as if someone had hit him in the gut, and then he did something stupid. Stop it. Please stop. I can't take it anymore. But the nightmares don't end just because you ask politely or because you really can't do it anymore. I felt like the voice didn't belong to him. Of course, the voice was his own, but he certainly would have never done something like that. He never talked to the one who scratches. Oh, okay. He'd probably heal not be it if there was any visible traces left, but there was none. Only the screech here and there, as if something was trying to strength on the bone, looking around for something. Look for him. He regretted speaking out loud many, many times. It would have been better if he died quietly right there. That would have solved so many problems. He was leaning against the back of the sofa, and quiet whimpering when he was silent, as suddenly as if it begun. For a while he continued sitting crooked like a giant fetus, hugging his knees in his back, and only moved when he really believed that everything had calmed down. At the very moment the round metal handle on the back door began to shrivel, he didn't immediately realize where the sound was coming from, the soft rattle of metal and glass, but he had a clue. The transparent glass on the back door was closed by a thin polka dotted curtain. It had trembled and rhythm with the sounds. Then the house got quiet again. Some voice, the same one that beckoned to the windows on high floors, called him to look behind that polka dotted curtain. He knew just one look would be enough to make him lose his mind, but the call was too hard to resist, and he hadn't slept for too long. Slowly, as if half asleep, he made his way to the door. He could see the pattern clearly now, so close it was. Small dots, each one quivering with a silent cry. Do not look. Do not look. Do not look. He yanked the curtain aside and stared into the darkness with the eyes of a man facing a truck moving at full speed. Of course, there was no one at the door. After that, he decided to always keep the bat nearby. You never got over it, did you? Kind of skip.
Is something wrong?
Okay, so it still keeps the cat was lying on his lap. It had been a long time since her last visit, much longer than he would have liked. I don't know. Something's happened to me. It's not insomnia. As if I'm missing something. As if something is missing inside of me. I can't explain it well enough, but maybe you know what I mean. The cat was staring at nothing in silence. Something only cats can do right. Do you believe in
Why
ghosts?
would you ask?
I think I've wondered something I can't quite explain. The cat was silent for a while.
Maybe. It is a matter of perspective.
What do you mean?
That which you've lost, those who you've lost. The number gets bigger over time. The struggle is not to become a ghost yourself. Before time, I mean.
Something tight in his
I
throat.
didn't want to upset you. I really didn't.
I don't want to lose you. Is it possible? The cat looked at him for a long moment, and her purpose only large looked at as black as the moonless night.
Scratch my ear, alright? I'll sing you the best song.
I like all of your
I know,
songs.
but I'll sing the best one.
He ran his hands through the warm, thick field that smelled of dust and something sweet. The cat was smiling at him, lying in his arms. He could feel, with all his being, the vibrations of another very different world as they were low in his body. Next day, he heard the one who scratches right beneath his window. Before the open window on the second floor, to be precise, beneath. At the moment, he was struggling with a tough scene near this door is ending. Imagine nature's quiet comment if you haven't slept for a while and did a good job on burning out. You think you're hearing things like if someone is quietly sloping in the far corner of the room, just beyond where your eye can see.